Hey there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story, even when it's on the go. So I've got a little different look for you into studio life today, into behind the scenes on crop, pack, and prep. I'm headed to Orlando for a crop, a 4-day crop, and it's been my dream to go to Cropping in the Kingdom ever since it rolled out about 10 years ago, and this is the year. Now, I signed up to go before starting my channel, and so obviously creating for 4 days presents its own kind of challenge, and I had to think about what I could do that would be productive, that would be fun, that would maybe even be Disney, because you know when you're at Disney, you got to scrap Disney, right? And I came up with, I'm going to work on my itinerary pages. And this is a little double page recap I do for every trip we take. These are printed out because I'm not going to be able to run into my library wall and check out what I've got done. So this is just to help me make sure I don't have any repetition. And I'm going to start staging things on my desk, but I also have to put away some things from a project I just finished. So I'll clean everything up, and I'm going to start corralling things to my desktop that I need to pack. Since it's in Orlando, I am flying. That means all of my project supplies are going to need to be either in my carry-on or in a checked bag. And it means I cannot take my beautiful chair, and I can't take my big trimmer. So I've really been thinking about, you know, what I could do. And the beauty of these guys is I can cut my paper with my 6-inch trimmer. So I just wanted to invite you along for this little bit of chaos. And so I'll kind of talk you through. I've got this, you know, tool caddy. I will absolutely take this tool caddy with me, and I'm going to take my glue. Well, I'll take this too. So I'm going to have a 6-foot table, and I can't have any accessory tables behind me, which, like, I'm an L-shaped girl, and so I'm a little anxious about that. My MacBook will go because this is my brains. You know, this is going to be my Trello. It's where I'm going to mark off where I finish things. I've got some digital triaging I can do. So here's the deal. I kind of get bored of doing the same thing. So not only am I traveling over for this crop, but I'm going to spend 2 days in the park before. We're going to go on a cruise, you know, because I'm a Carissa Wiley Moore's More girl. So if I'm going to fly to Orlando, I've got to get, you know, bang for my buck. And that kind of makes things a little more difficult because I'm going to be taking a lot. So I'm starting early because I'm a little anxious about it. But all that to say, 4 days away from home, cropping with a bunch of people I don't know. I know 2 people out of the 336. And that, you know, that makes me a little twitchy to think about. So I can always hide in my computer if it gets to be too much. And so this is going to go right here. This all needs to be put away. And I've got my Disney cupboard I need to open. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to be picking up, pulling out. And I just kind of wonder, you know, why do we do this? Why do we spend a week preparing to go scrap for 4 days? I don't know. I mean, because it's fun, because scrapbooks in general are maybe kind of crazy. I mean, think about it. We've all got space in our homes dedicated to paper and whatnot. So, but it really is, you know, the most fun. So let's see. I can't take my big trimmer because on a 6-foot wide table, what I struggle with is, like, you only can reach about 3 feet of that. And so all of your perimeter just becomes like a flanking area for storage. And so I know that I don't want my big honking trimmer. And so because I'm flying, my crop bag is going to be a suitcase. So I'm going to wheel a suitcase into the ballroom. But I think that I will take this guy. And the main reason why is because this layout calls for some 12-inch strips on it. And I thought if I cut the strips up, that would be another thing that would break up the variety of the crop task. I mean, I just can't. I do. I mean, my mind, I don't know. Um, and then this layout also has some hand stitching on it, so that'll be a great way to break up the monotony of it all. And so let me put away these travel supplies, and then I'll be back to start pulling things out. I'm back and I have everything put away that's not related to my trip. And I saved this. This is from my last scrapbook.com order. I saved this piece of chipboard out with this plastic sleeve in case I need to take any larger items that need some support. And I am going to take this little lamp. You know, we're in a ballroom. The lighting is going to be terrible. And I might be crazy enough to also take this one because I can, because they're small. So this would definitely be carry-on. I have a really good carry-on bag, and so anything that would be fragile would go in my carry-on bag. You know, my liquids, all of that, you know, anything controversial, go checked. If you've never flown with crop supplies before, it's not uncommon for your bag to get opened up and for them to look at it, because it's like, what is all this stuff? Which kind of gets back to me saying earlier, you know, we're a crazy bunch of people. So the other thing I can do on my computer while I'm there is the journaling for these. So kind of my plan is to get as many of these layouts done as possible, and then I'll come home and I'll title them, and hopefully I'll just print the journaling out, because I'm going to make myself be disciplined to write the journaling in the moment. And by taking my MacBook, I'll have all of my pictures with me, all of my memories with me. So I'm going to take a chair cushion, a chair pad. I have a packing list. I haven't printed it off yet because it's not final. And, you know, I don't like to waste money. So here's my Disney cupboard. And these will probably go just, well, I might cull through them and see. But I'm going to pull this out. And then this is the real workhorse for my trip. I don't think I've shared these before, but these are Home Edit from the Container Store medium organizers by iDesign. I'm sure you can find knockoffs. The dimensions are 6.5 inches wide by 3.25 inches tall by 4.75 deep. So I take all of my 6x6 pads apart, unless they're new and they're in the front, and I will probably use saran wrap to secure that so that it's stable, and put it in my suitcase just like that. And here's a second one, and it's got the 6x8 pads at the back. And the benefit to starting all of this a little bit early is you can get it spiffed up and straightened out, because I shared in my room tour, when something new comes in, I don't always put it away correctly. I just put it with the stuff, and the next time I'm working with that stuff, I can clean it up. Now for this project, I have also a bag of Disney paper scraps, just a big Ziploc bag. And these layouts have punches on them. I'm not going to pick that up. These layouts have punches on them, and so this is great for that. So I'm going to take that with me, and that's all I need out of here. I do need my punches. I'm just taking my Mickey punches. I've got the big and the little. And then I have this one. This one isn't my favorite because the shape is different. To me, it's less true to the original shape, but I like the little sizes and it'll go. And that's all the punches I need. Oh, you know what I need? I need cardstock bases. So let me, I've got some unopened 25 count basil white upstairs, and I'll just bring that down. I'm not going to pull out of my open stock. And so here's the other thing. I don't know how many of these layouts I can get done in 4 days because I haven't done one in so long. I don't know how long it takes me to do one. And so that's another reason why I'm taking the computer for some backup work in case I'd rather underpack, I think, than over. There's nothing worse than, to me, spending a bunch of time preparing for a crop and then not getting the pages done. I'm waiting on the final agenda from the crop organizers because I don't know what time, or I can't recall what time the room opens and closes. We have meals provided. I think we've got 1 meal a day provided, and so 1 meal a day will be either going to the food court or, who knows, hopping on the monorail and going somewhere. And I mean, we're going to have to go out and watch the fireworks, right, from the bridge. We may not be going into the parks, but we can certainly be around and see some of the magic. Let me look at my packing list. If you want a copy of my packing list, you can message me on Facebook. I don't have the ability to attach files in my, well, you know what? I might can add the file on my Facebook page, a PDF. I hadn't thought about that. But I need to get my adhesive refills out. Oh, I've already got stuff I can mark off. Oh, my stamps. Yeah, I'm glad I looked at that. So I have a category of Disney stamps, and they're in here, and they're at the back. Oh, it's a lot. But you know, that's my thing. Carissa Wiley, more is more. And I've got these big LE Studio sets. And so because I'm taking my stamps, I need to take my my smallest Misty, which it's great to have that for a time like this. Okay. That's all. Just a little bit, right? And my baby Misty is down here in a drawer. Let me get that out. So here's my little baby Misty. It needs a new magnet. I should just throw this one away. But I have one here that's ready to go. And this also means I need to get out some hammer mill. I'd rather have too much than not enough in a case like this. And so this would be a good candidate to put here with this chipboard. I need to figure out a portable magnetic work surface, but I am going to take my low-tack tape and I'll use this to tape my doubles together, and I might even could use it to tape my layout onto whatever my work surface is. But you know, I don't like working on those cloth banquet tablecloths that you usually get in a banquet room, and so I need to figure out some kind of surface that I can take with me that will be suitable to being close to something I like and enjoy. I'm a very kinesthetic girl, like aesthetics, how things feel and look. They matter to me, whether that's good or bad. And so whenever I travel to a crop, I like to enjoy it as much as I like cropping at home, which is, you know, its own challenge. Okay, let me look at my list real quick. I've got foam. I'm going to take 2 whole rolls. I'm going to take 4 of these sheets of the big squares. and 4 of the smaller ones. I noticed when I was looking at these layouts, so my scrapping style has evolved. Like every year it evolves. You wouldn't do something the same way. And so I was looking at these finished layouts, and I was talking to my husband last night, and I was like, what do you think about this? Because it's a different look, and it's a routine look. It's meant to make it easy, and it's meant to be like a look over time at what we did and who we did it with. And I noticed that the pages looked a little flat. And so he and I talked about it, and we still think there's value in, so he's in retail. He's really very gifted he has a good eye for things. And we think there's value in the structure, but I thought to myself, if I popped the little mouse heads up and maybe even the stamp sentiments, then that would be different. And I need to get hexagon punch so I can create some fishtails. Do you know that trick where you can put your paper in here and get a good notch? I'm going to take my small and medium, and I didn't have these on the list, so I'm glad I thought about them. Okay, I need to get my ink pad. I want to get my stamp press tool. On a magnetic surface, I kind of thought about this, taking this Make Art station, and it would be a way for me to stabilize like the center of my layout. I don't know. I'm going to set it to the side to remind me to kind of drill down on that. And here's my ink pad. For stitching, I've got my piercing mat, my OmniGrid ruler, my piercer. I use a standard 413. It's a charcoal gray. I use it as a soft black, and so I've got the one I'm working on and 2 extras. And that reminds me right now, come over here and get a needle. I'll put that right there. So I think as far as supplies go, except for my white cardstock and my pictures, this is pretty much going to be what my workstation looks like. I need to get my chair cushion down here, and I need to locate some extension cords. So let me ask you, do you ever go out to crops, and have you flown for a crop? And do you like going to crops? And tell me, when was the last crop you went to? My creative memories background made scrapbooking very social. And it was so enjoyable to be with other women and doing something fun. And so there's a part of me that loves going to a crop. But then there's also a part of me that's like, I'm an introvert and this is too people-y. And so I think that's the fun thing about the idea of going to this one, is that if you need a break from the crop room, we can go up to the 4th floor and sit by the escalator and people watch for a little bit. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to, stop rambling and look at my list. And then I'll probably be back with one more outtake at the end of this to go over some of the final details. And I also need to locate a picture case. I've got some iris cases upstairs for my printed out pictures. And so it's going to be fun, and you don't need to worry about missing any content while I'm traveling, because I've got videos loaded through September the 4th, and everything is going to be on schedule as usual. So one other thing I thought of are these empty page protectors. When you're traveling, I like to be able to slip finished pages in here. So I'll just do one, like one spread front and back like this. And then at the crop, I can flip and look at it if I need to. And that'll protect it getting it back home. Because that's another consideration is getting it home without getting it damaged. And that's why things like this chipboard will come in handy. So I have finalized pretty much everything, printed off my list, checked off what I've already pulled. I am in really good shape, and honestly what I need to do now is start printing pictures. But let me show you some other things I pulled, and the other thing is I'll containerize all of this. And when I containerize it, I'm thinking about two factors: getting it over there and then accessing it in the crop room, because you've got to fit it all on your space. But I always take post-it notes with me if I need to put a note on anything. This is a little pencil bag, and it's got some Kleenex in it that I'll put a couple other office supply like desk type things in here. I don't have any idea how fast I'm going to work. I'm taking refills, probably more than I need, but you can't get them there. I mean, we're going to be in Walt Disney World, and I'm not going to have a car. This is an easel. It's a piece of foam board, foam core, and I'm taking it to hold like my agenda for the crop. I got this at a Scrapbook Generation We Create crop. I love them, and I use them a lot. So this is pulled to go. I've got my stamp cleaning chamois, 2 stamp blocks. This is my sidekick, and I have an expander for it for my Hydro Flask, and I'm going to take this because I mean it's just part of my workup, part of my MO. I'm a water girl. I haven't drank soda in probably 22 years, and water, water, water. This is a little caddy. I'm probably going to take this instead of this decorative one because it can hold more things, and like my foam tape can go in there. Got a big power extension cord. It's a mystery to me. About 4 years ago, I bought one of those fun little towers. It's somewhere in this house. I have no idea where it is. I can never find it when it's time. I grabbed a 4x6 photo case. I might need more than one of these, but it's here. And then I've got this larger case in case I need to put anything in that. Again, it's about how can I get it over there. I've got some of my photo tape refills. I use a different tape for my photos. I grabbed this just kind of in thinking it'll help me containerize this stuff. I'm sure it surprises no one that I have some stuff up in the upstairs guest closet, and it's my containers and such for when I go on the road. 2 packs of cardstock. I kind of tried to drill down on how many pages I think I could do a day, and I think I'm going to shoot for doing 5 doubles a day. Now these are pretty standard. It's cutting paper and taping and stitching and then typing journaling. So if I can adjust maybe the stitching or the journaling. And then do y'all remember when We Are Memory Keepers kits came in these sturdy plastic containers? And remember how I said I needed to get my paper over there without getting bent? Voila! I was pretty excited to see that. And then the last thing I grabbed, macadamia nuts. I'm not a big snacker, not at all, but these are just in case there aren't great choices for food, because I'm not in control of what we're being served, and a few of these can go a long way. Okay, So now I think it's time to start portioning these out into containers, thinking about the size of my carry-on suitcase, and getting this chaos into more order. And what's left on my list? I need to think about, on this sidekick, about pulling out the trash bag accessory for that. And I need to find my 1/4 inch foam tape refills. I know right where they are. They're in that drawer where I have to move the dog bed. So Steve needs to be home so he can move the girls. Y'all can probably see Coco right now. And other than like just unplugging my lamps, I've pulled everything. So it's definitely time to start printing pictures, and I'm getting more and more excited. So I hope that this has been encouraging to you, or at least mildly entertaining. But I feel pretty good about this level of supplies for a 4-day crop. And I've got, the page protectors and the chair cushion and the cardstock over here. A few things you probably can't see, but definitely I see all of this fitting into my carry-on, which is exciting to me because then I can partition it off. Like when I'm on the cruise and at the parks, I can know you don't have to get into that little suitcase, and that is also good. So, yep, thanks for being a part of this behind-the-scenes studio life. Penny going on the road. Prep mode. I'm a lot. I'm high maintenance, and I always say as long as you know it, that's okay. So the last section I think I'll film for this is when I've got it all containerized and ready to pack. I'm not going to haul my suitcase up into this, but anyway, stay tuned. Hey, so I'm back, and I think I've gone about as far as I can go on this. I did pull a little container for my Disney stamps. I did pull a multi-purpose storage bin for my page protectors, my stitching supplies, my oversized stamps, my small Misty. This will sit at my crop workspace, and it'll be an organization caddy, things I can reach for. For purposes of transportation and storage, I've got my adhesive refills in here, along with my stamp blocks, my stitching thread, my paper piercer, my thread scissors, and my little needle case. Both of these things will fit right into my suitcase. This is my cardstock. On my 6x6 paper, I've shared I'm going to wrap it in saran wrap. It'll lay down. I'll probably use crop clothes to buffer some of this in my suitcase. So I've got clothes for the parks and clothes for the cruise and then clothes for the crop. And so I'm trying to get all of my crop stuff into one bag. Now, having said that, my scissors and such will have to go into my checked bag underneath. This will go into my backpack carry-on. This trimmer will go at the bottom of my carry-on. And so it'll just be a little game of Tetris to get it all in there. But I have flown to crops before, and I'm not overly worried. And these little things will just fit into the nooks and crannies of my suitcase. And I think that's about it. So you can watch for the post-crop video where I'll do maybe a reveal of the pages I worked on and maybe a little bit of a haul. So I hope this was enjoyable to you. And I'm always here for your entertainment value. If you are just amused by me, I'm perfectly fine with that, because sometimes I am also amused by me. So let me know if you've got a crop on the books this year or in the next 12 months. I get to do this again in October when I go to the Simple Stories retreat. That'll be a different animal. That's going to play with things they give me, and I won't have to worry about printing pictures or anything, at least not till I get back. So anyway, I appreciate you. I thank you if you're one of my subscribers. If you're not, please consider hitting that subscribe button, because we're all working to get toward that
1,000 mark when I can turn off the mid-roll ads. So if you'd consider that, I'd appreciate it. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.